Hello, good morning. It's Abigail with Black Book Space. I wanted to come to you and revisit a book I read a little while ago called Black Girls Must Die Exhausted and see what you think, pull out some quotes and different things like that, and just come back in a moment so we can chat about this book. Okay, so we're back. So, this is the book, Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jane Allen. So when this book first came out, I think people were going really crazy. I know when I first saw the title, I was like, wait a minute, sounds a little morbid. Don't know if I'm going to be into that, but I absolutely loved this book. It visits and talks about the life of this wonderful lady, Tabitha Walker, who actually is a television personality, right? So she's out there, like she's on TV and dealing with different things that we all deal with, right? Getting older, wondering if you're going to have children. Her definition of pretty for herself as a Black woman was really interesting. But something else she dealt with was her relationship with her grandmother. And I feel like that was one of the biggest parts of the book, one of the largest bases of the book. So the thing was, her grandmother is a white woman, and she'd go and visit her regularly in her nursing home with her friend, her grandmother's friend, who was also quite a character. And her relationship with her grandmother really is kind of what molds the book, because her grandmother is the one who makes the comment that Black girls must die exhausted, because she notices like many of the things that they deal with. Okay, so let's find some of the quotes in this book that stood out to me, or just different things going on. One of the other things I really liked about this book, which comes up in a lot of books, is her relationship with her friends. This is interesting. So she's talking to her friend. She said, I shook my head. We're just always caught right in the middle of carrying a double, even a triple burden, I said, and never knowing which issue is the issue that's going to get us what we need. How can you fight other people's battles when it seems like nobody is fighting for yours? Okay, so this is interesting because she's talking about one of the ladies at her job is wanting her to join this women's group, and she's just kind of like, I don't feel like I can because I have so many other issues of my own, and I don't know if my issues are going to be addressed. So what do you think about that? Is it possible to, I think people, this is what people refer to, right, as intersectionality. Is it possible to be loyal to what you feel your issues are and fight your issues while fighting battles for other people as well? I would say yes, because at the end of the day, many of the so-called battles that we fight, the things that we're up against, are all rooted in the same thing, right? So fighting one usually can lead to the destruction of another if we all are banding together and looking at all of the issues as an issue, and not one is more important than the other. I think a lot of times, because a person hasn't experienced a certain issue, they don't feel like it exists, right? Which is wild. I'm just gonna say it's wild. That's how I'm gonna term it in this video. It's a little wild. It's a little kind of linear. It's a linear way of looking at something. I mean, like, there's so many issues in the world that people experience that we can all have compassion for. And I believe that if we all had compassion for those issues and learned about those issues more, we'd see them as a problem and think about how we can put our heads together to solve the problem, rather as just looking at, well, no, feminism is actually the only issue, and that's all I'm going to talk about, and simply because that's what I'm comfortable with. And it's like, no, that's not true. Feminism is not the only issue. It's a huge issue, but it's rooted in other things. And once we get to the actual truth of what it's rooted in, then we can probably fight against it, right? A lot of it to me is just lack. It's a lack mentality, right? You're wanting to get something from someone else or take something from someone else based on their race or their gender is coming from lack. And if we all just looked at that as the issue, then I think a lot of these other things would be eradicated too. But that just is my opinion, right? So, and that's the beautiful thing about all of this. Having these discussions really helps to lay out other people's perspectives as well. And you'll say, I never think about it that way. Maybe that is a way we can look at it as a solution. So I think I've gone on about that enough. That isn't even where I was planning to take this, but this book is really deep. It really talks about a lot of different things that we don't normally think about. So this woman, she is a product like of divorce, right? Her parents were divorced. She's biracial or multiracial, and that's different, right? So it brings into play other perspectives that are not always in books that are considered mainstream, which is what the purpose of this channel is. It's about celebrating and looking at books by Black authors because we have different perspectives, and those different perspectives need to be pulled into discussions that affect us. So with all that being said, I'm going to stop because I'm getting a little deep. But if you like discussions like this where we're talking about and celebrating books by Black authors, you really should consider coming to the Epic Book Chat. The next Epic Book Chat is on June 11th. It is both online and in person. Either of those tickets can be purchased on my website, motherlandjams.com, under the tab Special Events. And you can also get on Eventbrite and purchase your ticket if you're in Phoenix. That will get you the ticket for the in-person event, which will be in South Phoenix. So come on out, join us, come celebrate books like this with us. We're reading, we're talking about The Other Black Girl, and the link to purchase that book is in the description of this video. And yeah, tell me what you think about what I just talked about with this book. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. I know a lot of people had a lot of strange things to say about it. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a beautiful book, very beautifully written. The characters were all amazing, and it was just a really good book. So I hope to be able to interview the author about her perspective and what inspired her to write it as well. But who knows? Who knows where that will go? Just encourage you to read the book and other books like them and start having those discussions. Start working on having, I think, compassion for other people and their journeys as well. I really think that's what's going to make the world a better place. Yes. Bye. Have a great day. Do something that brings you joy today.